Hello everybody, so today we are making a crochet specs folder in the sunflower design, for which I am using brown, black and green yarn. You can use either dark green or light green and yellow yarn. I am also using a 2.5 mm hook. Then we'll need darning needle and a stitch marker and a pair of scissors. So let's get started. So I'll work with the black yarn first. So to start, we need to work into a magic ring. So to make a magic ring, you'll grab the yarn and to wrap it around your finger like that. It should form an X. Now you put your hook inside both of the two loops, yarn over and pull your hook out. That is a magic ring. Now since you are working with double crochets, you need to chain 2. So yarn over and pull your hook out. That's chain 1 and 2. So now we'll do 12 double crochets inside the magic ring. So to do a double crochet, what we need to do is yarn over once, then put our hook inside the magic ring, yarn over and pull our hook out. Now we'll have 3 loops, 1, 2 and 3. So I yarn over, pull my hook from the first 2 loops. Now we'll have 2 left. So I yarn over and pull my hook from the remaining 2 loops. This is how we do a double crochet. We can mark the first double crochet with using a stitch marker. So you grab it and you put the stitch marker into the first double crochet stitches and close it. Now we'll do 11 more double crochets inside the magic ring. We'll keep repeating the same process until we have 11 in total. So now I'm done with all my 12 double crochets inside the magic ring. So I can remove my finger and pull the smaller thread to make it tight. Like that. Now we can remove the stitch marker and we'll do a slip stitch into the first double crochet where the stitch marker was. So I put my hook in that stitch, the first double crochet, yarn over and pull my hook out. Now we'll have 2 loops, so I pull the first loop from the second, like that. That is called a slip stitch. So now we are done with round 1, and to begin with round 2, we need to chain 2 first. So we'll chain 2, 1 and 2. Now we'll do 2 double crochets in each stitch. So that means a double crochet increase. So I yarn over, put my hook in the first stitch and do 1 double crochet. That is 1, so I can mark it with the stitch marker. Now we'll do 1 more double crochet in the same stitch in the first one. So I put my hook back there and do 1 more double crochet. That's 2 double crochets in 1 stitch. So I go in the next now and I do 1. Now I'll go back in the same and do 1 more. This is what we'll do for the whole round. Now I'm done with all my double crochets. In total we should have 24 double crochets. So now I can remove my stitch marker and do a slip stitch in the first double crochet which we made. Right there. And pull the first loop from the second. That's how we make a slip stitch. Like that. So now we're done with round 2 and we'll begin with round 3. So to do round 3, 2 double crochets in the first stitch and 1 double crochet in the next. Now we need, so I yarn over, put my hook in the first stitch, yarn over and pull it out, and I do a double crochet. Now we yarn over and go back in the same stitch and do 1 more double crochet. That is 2 in the same place. Now I'll do 1 more in the next. So I yarn over, go into the next stitch and do 1 double crochet. This is what we'll repeat for the whole round. So I yarn over again, go in the first stitch and do 2 double crochets together. Back in the same place. Now I'll do one more in the next stitch. So it's 2 1 2 1 for the whole round. Now I'm done with the whole round. You can use a stitch marker if it is not easy for you to locate the first double crochet. So we'll do a slip stitch now. So I put my hook there. I did not use a stitch marker, and I yarn over, pull it out, and I pull the first loop from the second. Like that. Now we are done with round 3, and now we'll switch our yarn color. So after round 3 we'll switch to brown color. So now to change yarn, you can chain 1 to secure it and pull it out. Now we can simply cut the yarn like that. Then we can loop it out, and now the stitch that is just behind the stitch where we ended. Now I'll grab my brown yarn. I put my hook into the behind stitch. Then I grab the brown yarn over and pull the brown yarn out. Now I need to chain 2. Now for round 4 we'll do 2 double crochets in the first stitch and 1 double crochet in the next 2. So it will be a pattern of 2 1 1 2 1 1. Now as we go we'll also hide this black tail which we left. I'll show you how to do it. So I yarn over, go into the first stitch, and I do 2 double crochets together there. That is 1. I go back in the same place and I do 1 more. Now when I do the next stitch, I'll also make sure to grab the black yarn with me. So I yarn over, I go into the next stitch, make sure that the black yarn is on top of my hook, and I do 1 double crochet. That is how we hide the yarn tail. Now I yarn over, I go into the next, make sure the black one is attached, and I do 1 more double crochet. Like that. That is how we do. So I yarn over, go in the next stitch, do 2 there together, 2 double crochets together. So that's 1, and 1 more in the same place. Now we'll do 1 double crochet in the next stitch. I go in the next, I do 1 double crochet. Now I go into the next one and do 1 more. That is the process we'll repeat for the whole round. Now I've almost reached the end of the black yarn tail. So I'll complete 1 last stitch. And now we can pull the black tail and we'll cut it. So I cut the black tail. This is how we'll hide our tails for every round. Now I'll continue crocheting as usual. Now I'm done with the whole round. So I can do a slip stitch into the first double crochet. Make sure you don't do it into the chain 2 but the first one. So I put my hook there and I do a slip stitch. Now we are done with round 4 and we'll begin with round 5. Now for round 5 we'll chain 2 first, 1 and 2. Now I'll do 2 double crochets in the first stitch and 1 double crochet in the next 3 stitches. So I yarn over and do 2 double crochets in the first stitch. That is 1, and I'll do 1 more in the same place. Now in the next 3 stitches I'll do 1 double crochet each. So I go into the next stitch and I do 1 double crochet. Then into the next I'll do one more, and again into the next one more, and one last. So it is 2 1 1 1. So I go in the next stitch and I do 2 double crochets there together. Then I do one in the next, one in the next, and one last in the last stitch. So we'll repeat the same process for the whole round. I'll meet you once I'm done. Now I'm done with the whole round. So now I can do the slip stitch. So I go into the first double crochet, leaving the 2 chains, and I do a slip stitch there. Now we are done with round 5, and to begin with round 6 we'll chain 2 first, 1 and 2. Then I do 2 double crochets into the first stitch and 1 double crochet in the next 4 stitches. I go into the first stitch and I do 2 double crochets there together. That is 1, and I go back in the same place and I do 1 more. Now I'll do 1 double crochet in the next 4 stitches. So I go in the next, I do 1, then into the next 1 more. That is 2. Now 1 more in the next, and 1 last into the last stitch. So it's 2 1 1 1 1. So we'll repeat the same process for the whole round. So I go in the next stitch and I do 2 double crochets again together in the same place, and 1 double crochet in the next 4 stitches. 3 and 1 last into the 4th stitch. So now I'll meet you once I'm done with the whole round. Now I'm done with the whole round and I'm left with the slip stitch. So I'll go into the first double crochet and do a slip stitch. That's it. Now we are done working with the brown yarn. So we can cut the yarn. And grab our green yarn. So now I yarn over and I pull the green yarn out. This is another way of changing our colors. You can use either of the way we did before or the one we did now. Now we need to do chain 2. So that is 1 and that's 2. So we have 2 chains in total. Now you can grab the both end tails and tie it together if it is getting loose. Now after that chain 2, what we need to do is 2 half double crochets in the first stitch. So to do a half double crochet, you yarn over, put your hook inside, yarn over and pull your hook out. Now you need to yarn over and pull your hook from all the 3 loops at once. That is a half double crochet. So I do 1 more in the same place, yarn over, put my hook, pull it out and pull my hook from all the 3 loops at once. That is a half double crochet. Now I'll do 1 half double crochet in the next 5 stitches. So I go in the next, I do 1, then I yarn over and I go in the next, 1 more, that's 2. Now I 1 more and 1 last. So this is the pattern you'll repeat for the whole round. So now I do 2 half double crochets into the next stitch. That is 1, and I go back in the same place and I do 1 more. And I'll continue crocheting. 5 half double crochets. So I do 1 more, and I'll repeat this pattern for the whole round and I'll meet you once I'm done. Now I'm done with all my half double crochets, and now I'll do a slip stitch into the first half double crochet which we made. So I put my hook, yarn over, pull it out, and pull the first loop from the second. So now we're done with this round, and now we'll work on the petals. So we can cut this yarn and grab our yellow yarn. So I'll cut the yarn and I can chain one and loop out. So now I can grab my yellow yarn for the petals. So I can put my hook in any of the random stitches like that. You put it inside the V, then you need to yarn over and I'll chain 2, 1 and 2. Now I'll do a double crochet into the next V stitch. So I put my hook and I do a double crochet like that. Now I need to do a treble crochet to the same stitch. So I yarn over twice. I put my hook in the same stitch. I yarn over and pull my hook out. Now we'll have 4 loops. So I yarn over, pull my from the first 2 loops, then again 2 loops, and then I'll pull it from the remaining 2 loops. That is how we do a treble crochet. Now I need to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3. Now I'll put my hook into the last 2 loops which we pulled. The last 2 loops which we pulled of the treble crochet. So I put my hook in that's one, and the other loop like that. And now I'll do a slip stitch here like that. So that makes my flower pointed. Now I'll do a treble crochet in the next stitch again. So I yarn over, pull it out, and 2, 2 and 2. So we'll do it in pairs. Then I do a double crochet in the same stitch again like that. Now we need to chain twice, 1 and 2, and we'll do a slip stitch in the next stitch. So I'll pull it. That's a slip stitch. Now we have made 1 petal, and we'll repeat the same thing for the rest of the petals. So I chain 2 again. Now I'll do a double crochet in the next stitch. Then I do a treble crochet in the same stitch. Then I chain 3. Then I put my hook to the last 2 loops of the treble crochet. So that's one, and that's the other. I yarn over, pull it out, and do a slip stitch. Then I do a treble crochet in the next stitch. So I put my hook in the next stitch and I do a treble crochet. Then I'll do a double crochet in the same stitch like that. Now I chain 2 again, 1 and 2, and I'll do a slip stitch in the next stitch. So that's a slip stitch. Now we're done with the second petal also. So we'll repeat the same process for the entire round. I'll meet you once I'm done. So now I have made all my petals, and now it's time for the slip stitch. So I grab my working tail, I chain twice, 1 and 2, and then I do a slip stitch into the first half double crochet of the round where we started. So I put my hook there and do a slip stitch. Now we are done with our specs holders flower. So now I can chain 1 to secure it, and I can cut the yarn. Using a thread cutter. So that's how we'll make the flower. And now we can weave in all of these ends and stitch in the push buttons. I'll meet you once I am done. So now I have weaved in all of my ends and I have also stitched the push buttons. So we can close it like that and open it like that. So now we'll work on the sling. I'll grab my green yarn and we'll make double chains. So I'll make a magic ring first. So to make a magic ring, you can wrap the yarn around your finger just like we did for the flower. Put your hook inside the loops, yarn over and pull your hook out. Now that's a magic ring. We can chain one to secure it. Now we need to do a single crochet inside the magic ring. So I put my hook inside, yarn over and pull it out. Now I'll have two loops, so I yarn over and pull my hook from both the loops at once. That's a single crochet. Now I can remove my finger and pull the smaller thread to make it tight. So it'll close like that. Now what we'll do is put our hook into the first loop, that one. So we have two loops, the second and the first one. So I put my hook there in the first one and I do a single crochet there. So I pull it from my hook from both the loops at once, like that. Now again I put my hook into the first loop and I do a single crochet there. The first loop and the second loop. So that is a double chain and we'll repeat the same process until we have 200 chains. So I put my hook into the first loop, I do a single crochet. We can count these V stitches. So till now we have made 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So we'll continue. Make sure you put your hook in the first loop and you do a single crochet properly, like that. If it is a little tight, you can loosen your hook a bit. So we'll continue. Now I'm done with all my 200 double chains. So now I can chain one to secure it and I'll cut the yarn like that. So I'll pull it out like that. So now we have our chain and our flower. So now it's time to assemble it together. So you can close the flower once. And now we can find our corner stitch. So you push it like that and then you'll easily find your corner stitch. So you put your hook from below and bring it up. Make sure you have the right corner stitch. So you bring it up. Then you take the loose end of your sling, yarn over and pull it out like that. Now you go through any of the half double crochet stitches like that, any of the loops, yarn over and pull the thread out and do a chain like that. This will make it secure and then you can pull it tightly. You'll repeat the same process for the other end too. So you put your hook back into the same stitch and bring it up. Then you do the same thing, you bring it down and then you chain one. So just bring it out from any of the loops like that and make a loop, then chain 1, and that's how you'll secure it. So now we have attached both ends of our sling, and now you can open it. Now we take both of the ends and we'll tie a knot to secure it properly. That is one, and you can do one more. That keeps it safe. So now, and pull it tightly. So now we have attached our slings to the flower, and now we can weave in these ends. I'll meet you once I'm done. So now I've weaved in the ends, and now we are done with our crochet specs holder. So we can attach our specs to it and close it like that. I'll show you how to attach the specs. So you can keep the specs like that and then close it using the push buttons, and then you can close it like that. This keeps your specs safe and it also looks beautiful. These look so beautiful. I've also made one more in the Everlight design. Comment if you want the tutorial. Bye.